Hello, this is Yuli. I will briefly introduce my research. Diagrams are considered as the effective heuristic for problem solving and considered a very powerful tool for communications. However, students face many difficulties in diagram use are reported in research and in educational practices. So education is very important. This study focuses on the first grade in elementary school. They start diagram use in math problem for the first time. This study examined education practice in a school and tried to answer the following three questions. The material used in the study as follows. The first problem is, when lining up, Lisa is the fourth from the front, and there are 3 people after that. How many people in total? This problem and the second problem are easy problems because the numbers shown in the math word problem are simply added to get a correct answers. However, third and fourth problem are a little bit different. Third problem is, when lining up, there is 4 people before, not 4 people before Lisa and 3 people after that. How many people in total? In this problem, students need to be +1 to get a correct answer. In such situations, students feel percept difficulty in solving get the correct answers. So third problem and first problem are a bit difficult problems. In the studies, the first problem and third problems are used for instruction from teachers. So isomorphic task in post-test. And other 2 types were transfer task. And it was examined how well students perform with the instruction examined in a post-test. Participants in this study were students in the first grade in Japan. 40-minute class was designed with me and a teacher in school. 2 classes were with instructions and 1 class are no instructions. The important point of the class with instructions was semi-concrete and abstract connections were emphasized. Semi-concrete diagrams was the diagram shown is here, and the block ones. In these diagrams, an object was represented by the block, a little bit abstracted, but students are very easily understand because it's a movable. The abstract diagram is the ones that the object were represented by circle, and this is very typical for the adult, for the people who learn mathematics. But for the first grade student, it's sometimes a bit hard to understand. For them to understand those kind of connection is very important. In the classroom, teacher firstly instructed with diagrams, with semi-concrete diagrams and with an abstract diagrams. Students also move their own block on their desk, and then they also draw a diagram by themselves and communicate with peers to confirm their understanding. After that, students are given several problems and they solve the problem with peers. When solving, students given a sheet of magnetic board and magnets. Can you see the magnet and magnet board in the pictures? Students can use those when solving with peers. Magnet sheet and magnets are kind of semi-concrete diagrams, so students can use it before drawing the abstract diagram. Those kind of process might be very important. This is a result. Look at the no instruction groups. Those are kind of baseline, and problems in 3 and 4, which are both difficult problems, perform very well. But the groups who receive the instruction perform very good, even in the difficult problems. This is the finding we got, but another one is students' use of diagrams, especially spontaneous use of diagrams, are dramatically different in those groups. Student with instructions, almost all students use the diagrams, but student no instruction really use diagrams. So the study shows a necessity providing scale instruction about diagram use to young learners. Only 45 minutes class improves their diagram use dramatically. So experience of solving problem collaboratively with semi-concrete and abstract diagrams are very important. Actually, the differences of the two groups among the instruction groups a bit differs. The student who more actively engaged with the magnet board and magnet performed much better than the other groups. So those kind of experiments might be important. The limitation of the study is that the study is a practice-based research, so the further examination is necessary in the future research. Thank you for listening.